The large alien ships hung in the sky above Earth, their advanced equipment showing readings they could hardly believe. Earth was unlike any planet they had seen before. Captain Tawan Kim walked across the bridge of the UES Discovery. His ship was the best that humans had built, but it seemed small next to the alien vessels. They had traveled to Jupiter to meet these visitors from beyond the stars. "Sir, they're scanning our ship again," said Lieutenant Jisoo Park. Her fingers moved quickly over her control panel, but her voice stayed calm. This was not the first time the aliens had examined their ship. "Let them look," Captain Kim replied quietly. "They will see only what we want them to see." The human team prepared to meet the aliens face to face. They wore their best uniforms and carried no weapons. Captain Kim had chosen his words carefully. This meeting would shape the future of Earth. The meeting room on the alien ship glowed with soft blue light. The walls seemed alive, changing colors slightly as they waited. When the alien leader entered, the humans tried not to show their surprise. Ambassador Clara stood nearly 3 meters tall. His skin shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. He had 4 arms and moved with unusual grace for his size. His eyes, all 3 of them, studied the humans with clear intelligence. "We have studied your world from afar," Clara said, his voice translated through a small device. "We find it difficult to believe intelligent life evolved there. Your Earth is what we classify as a Class 12 death world." "Death world?" asked Captain Kim. "I don't understand." Clara's skin flashed with patterns of purple and green. "Your planet has extreme weather. Too hot near the equator, too cold at the poles. Your gravity is stronger than most life-bearing worlds. You have thousands of predator species. Your oceans cover most of your planet with salt water that would kill many species. You have countless diseases. The very air you breathe contains oxygen, which is poisonous to many life forms." The human team exchanged glances. These things they had always taken for granted seemed to frighten the aliens. "Yet here we are," said Captain Kim with a small smile. The alien scientists moved forward, asking to scan the humans. They seemed amazed by the results. "Your bodies contain mostly water, yet you function normally," one scientist said. "You can survive in temperatures that would kill most sentient species. Your bones can repair themselves after breaking. You eat plants and animals. Your immune systems fight off millions of tiny invaders every day." Another scientist added, "You sleep for hours each day, becoming completely vulnerable, yet you survived as a species. Remarkable." Ambassador Clara seemed troubled. "By all normal standards, your world should have produced only simple organisms. Instead, it created you, beings who have mastered space travel despite evolving in such harsh conditions." The conference continued for hours. The aliens explained that they were part of a galactic confederation, a group of over 300 peaceful species. They shared knowledge, resources, and protected each other. "We would like to formally invite Earth to join the confederation," Clara finally announced. Captain Kim felt pride swell in his chest. Humanity would join the stars. "However," Clara continued, "we must classify your species as protected Deathworlders. This status is for your safety. Many environments, safe for other species, would be harmful to you. Your representatives will be given special accommodations when visiting Confederation worlds." The human team realized what the aliens were saying. The Confederation thought humans were fragile and needed protection. They had completely misunderstood what it meant to evolve on a death world. Captain Kim bowed formally. "We accept your invitation, and thank you for your concern for our well-being." As they returned to their ship, Lieutenant Park whispered, "They think we're weak because of where we evolved. They have no idea what humans are capable of." Captain Kim nodded. "And perhaps we should keep it that way. For now, let them think we need their protection. In time, they'll learn what it truly means to be from Earth." The Discovery turned back toward home. Earth would soon join a community of stars, but with a secret advantage. The aliens had no idea they had just met the most dangerous species in the galaxy, humans who had been shaped by the ultimate proving ground, Earth, the death world that made them strong. 3 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Confederation. Humans had built embassies on 20 alien worlds. They had learned about new technologies and shared their own. But they were still treated like children who needed protection. Admiral Hyun-Woo Lee sat in the great meeting hall on Centauri Station. The curved walls displayed maps of Confederation space. Red dots showed where the enemy had attacked. There were too many red dots. The Vrakari have taken 3 more outposts, Admiral Lee reported to the gathered alien leaders. His voice remained steady, but inside he felt frustrated. Each outpost fell within hours. The aliens murmured among themselves. Fear showed clearly on their faces. Many species in the Confederation had evolved on peaceful worlds with few predators or natural disasters. They had never needed to develop fighting skills. "What are these Vrakari?" asked a human diplomat who had just arrived. A tall, blue-skinned alien named Council Leader Thrix explained. "They come from the outer rim of the galaxy. They share a hive mind. Many bodies connected to one thinking network. For centuries they stayed in their own territory. But now they expand aggressively. They want our resources and planets." Images appeared on the screens, insect-like creatures with 4 arms and hard outer shells. They moved with perfect coordination, like soldiers who had trained together for years. "How do we stop them?" Admiral Lee asked. The aliens looked uncomfortable. Their military forces were small and poorly trained. They had relied on diplomacy for thousands of years. Fighting was not their way. After the meeting, Admiral Lee met with other human representatives. "We should offer our help," he said. "Earth's military forces have experience with combat strategy." The next day, they presented their offer to General Mura, the Confederation's military leader. The tall, thin alien had pale green skin that seemed to reflect his discomfort. "We appreciate your enthusiasm," General Mura said with a polite bow, "but your species remains under protected status. We cannot risk exposing you to such dangers." Admiral Lee tried to explain that humans were not as fragile as they thought, but the aliens would not listen. They truly believed they were protecting the poor Deathworlders. Weeks passed. More outposts fell. The Vrakari moved closer to populated Confederation worlds. Finally, after much debate, the Confederation agreed to allow a small human team to join their forces as tactical observers. They would watch and advise but not fight. Commander Dae Ho-yoon led the human team to the main Confederation defense fleet. His background in military strategy made him the perfect choice, but the aliens treated him with polite dismissal. "Welcome aboard the Luminous Dawn," said Fleet Captain Ziva. "Your quarters have been specially prepared with Earth-like conditions. Please stay in your assigned areas for your safety." Commander Yoon and his team watched battle after battle from the command center. The Confederation ships fought bravely, but without coordination. They had advanced weapons but used them poorly. "Their attack formation is predictable," Yoon said one day, pointing to the display showing the Vrakari ships. "They always send smaller ships first to test defenses, then attack the weakest point with their larger vessels." Fleet Captain Ziva nodded politely but didn't respond. The Confederation officers believed human combat ideas were too aggressive, too primitive. Commander Yoon wrote detailed reports after each battle. He pointed out weaknesses in the Vrakari strategy. He suggested new defensive formations. He outlined surprise maneuvers that could break the enemy lines. But his reports disappeared into the Confederation's vast information system, unread by those in command. One evening, Yoon found Lieutenant Sun Ho Kang in the observation deck, watching distant stars. "They won't listen," Kang said in frustration. "Yesterday I showed them how the Vrakari always attack at the same relative angle. We could use that knowledge to set traps." Yoon nodded. "They think we're too primitive to understand space warfare." "While they're too peaceful to understand warfare at all," Kang replied. That night, Commander Yoon couldn't sleep. The Vrakari were getting closer to major population centers. Billions of lives were at risk. He stared at the ceiling and wondered how long it would take before the Confederation realized they needed humanity's help, not just their technology, but their fighting spirit born from Earth's harsh conditions. The alarm sounded at 300 hours. The Valkyrie had broken through the outer defenses. They were heading straight for the fleet's position. Perhaps now, Yoon thought as he rushed to the command center, they will finally listen to what the Deathworlders have to say. The red warning lights flashed across Starbase Harmony. The sound of alarms filled every room and corridor. The Valkyrie attack had come without warning. Thousands of their ships surrounded the station where over 30,000 civilians from 12 different species had taken shelter. All non-essential personnel to evacuation vessels immediately, the calm computer voice announced. But panic had already taken hold. Lieutenant He Jun Kang watched from the security center as crowds rushed toward the escape pods. He and his team of 7 humans had been sent to Harmony as diplomatic guards for Earth's ambassador. Now they found themselves in the middle of a war zone. Station Commander Jeltz has ordered all security teams to evacuate, said Sun Ma-choi, the team's communications officer. Her face was serious as she listened to her earpiece. Confederation defense forces are retreating to protect the evacuation routes. Hajun looked at the monitors. Hundreds of civilians were still in the lower sections of the station, cut off from escape routes by damaged corridors. The Valkyrie would reach them in minutes. How many Confederation security forces are staying behind? He asked. Sun Mi's expression told him everything. None. Standard protocol is full retreat when defenses fail. The 7 humans looked at each other. On Earth, no soldier would abandon civilians to an enemy force. It wasn't just training. It was something deeper, something in their blood from thousands of years evolving on a dangerous world. Get your gear, Hajun ordered. Heavy weapons and med kits. We're staying. Minutes later, he stood before Station Commander Jeltz, a tall blue alien with 4 arms and a transparent skull that showed his nervous system pulsing with stress. Impossible, Jeltz said when Hajun explained their plan. You must evacuate with the others. The Valkyrie will show no mercy. We can buy time for the civilians in Section 12 to reach the escape pods, Hajun insisted. We know the risks. You are protected Deathworlders, Jeltz said, his voice rising. It is our duty to keep you safe. Hajun placed his hand on the weapon at his side. With respect, Commander, we're staying. We can hold the main junction for at least 30 minutes. That's enough time to get everyone out. The alien's eyes blinked rapidly in confusion. These fragile creatures from a harsh world were volunteering to face an enemy that had defeated their best forces. It made no sense. You have barely been trained on our weapons, Jeltz protested. We learn fast, Hajun replied. The humans moved quickly to their positions. They set up defense points at key junctions leading to the civilian areas. They had studied Confederation weapons during their time on the station, and now put that knowledge to use. Min Ho Park and Jae Woo Shin took the forward position. Jae Hai Kim and Young Soo Lee guarded the middle corridor. Hajun, Sun Mai, and Dong Hyun Yu held the final checkpoint near the evacuation area. The first wave of Valkyrie broke through the outer defenses 15 minutes later. The insect-like creatures moved in perfect coordination, their hard shells gleaming under the emergency lights. The fighting was intense. The humans used tactics that confused the Valkyrie, who were used to the predictable retreat patterns of Confederation forces. The humans took cover, set traps, and attacked from unexpected angles. Minho took a hit from a Valkyrie energy weapon. The blast burned through his shoulder, but he kept firing. Confederation soldiers would have been incapacitated by such a wound, but humans had evolved to continue functioning despite injury, a survival trait from Earth. In the middle corridor, the temperature rose to dangerous levels when a coolant pipe burst. Ji Hai and Young-soo kept fighting while the heat reached levels that would kill most Confederation species. Their body's natural cooling system, sweating, allowed them to endure. The security cameras captured everything. In the evacuation ships, aliens watched in amazement as the humans fought on. They saw Sun Mai Choi run through flames to rescue 2 Lyrian children, carrying them both despite the heavy gravity of the station. They witnessed Dong Hyun continue fighting after losing so much blood that any Confederation species would have fallen unconscious. Hejun held the final position alone for the last 10 minutes, allowing the final civilians to board the last escape pod. His uniform was burned, his face covered in blood, but he stood firm against the advancing Valkyrie. When the last evacuation vessel departed, Hejun and his team, all wounded but all still fighting, made their way to a maintenance shuttle. Against all odds, they escaped just as the Valkyrie overran the station. The footage from Harmony spread quickly throughout Confederation space. Species who had thought humans needed protection saw them endure conditions that would kill most aliens. They watched humans ignore injuries that would stop any Confederation soldier. They witnessed the determination that came from evolving on a world that constantly tried to kill them. "Perhaps," said Council Leader Thrix as he watched the recordings, "we have misunderstood our friends from Earth. They are not fragile creatures to be protected. They are warriors forged in fire." The myth of the protected Deathworlders began to crumble. The Confederation was starting to understand what it meant to evolve on a world like Earth. The Confederation War Council gathered in the giant crystal chamber on Proxima Station. The mood was dark. In the 3 months since the attack on Starbase Harmony, the Valkyrie had conquered 7 more systems. Nothing seemed able to stop them. Admiral Fora, a tall being with pale blue skin and 6 eyes, stood before the assembled leaders. His voice echoed through the chamber. "We must accept the truth," he said. "The humans possess abilities we do not. We need them." Many council members shifted uncomfortably. For years, they had treated humans as fragile creatures from a dangerous world. Now they were being asked to put humans at the center of their war effort. The footage from Harmony speaks for itself. Admiral Fora continued. 7 humans held off hundreds of Valkyrie. They survived conditions that would kill any of our species. They continued fighting despite injuries that would stop our strongest warriors. Colonel Minho Ryu entered the chamber. He stood tall in his Earth military uniform, his face showing no emotion. Behind him walked the 6 other survivors from Harmony, their bodies still healing from their wounds. The council debated for hours. Some worried that unleashing humans might be dangerous. Others feared that human methods would be too brutal. But in the end, they had no choice. The Valkyrie were winning, and conventional tactics had failed. "We approve the formation of a human-led special operations unit," announced Council Leader Thrix. Colonel Ryu bowed slightly. "We won't let you down," he promised. Within days, 500 human soldiers arrived from Earth. They quickly organized into teams, each with specific missions. The Confederation provided their most advanced weapons and ships, but let the humans plan their own operations. Captain Sung Min Park led Strike Team Alpha. His soldiers had trained in Earth's harshest environments. They could go for days with minimal sleep, a trait that shocked the Confederation aliens who needed regular rest cycles. "Don't you need to sleep?" asked a Xanthan engineer as Sung Min's team prepared for their 3rd straight day of operations. "We'll sleep when the mission is complete," Sung Min replied simply. Lieutenant Jae-Yun Kwon commanded Echo Team, specialists in environmental adaptation. They recovered critical supplies from a station orbiting too close to a sun. The heat would have killed any Confederation species, but the humans' bodies, evolved to handle Earth's temperature extremes, managed to function. "Your internal cooling systems are remarkable," a Confederation scientist told Jae-Yun afterward. "You literally push water through your skin to reduce your temperature." "We call it sweating," she said with a small smile. "Not very elegant, but effective." Medic Jin Woo-song revolutionized battlefield medicine. He showed Confederation doctors how human bodies could keep working despite blood loss that would be fatal to other species. He developed treatments that took advantage of humans' natural healing abilities. Your bones can repair themselves, a Confederation doctor said in amazement. Your blood contains cells that attack foreign bodies. Your skin grows back after damage. It's as if your entire species evolved expecting to be injured. On Earth, Jinwoo explained, being injured was normal. Those who could recover quickly survived. The Vrakari, who had never fought Deathworlders before, found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered. Humans could endure environments the Vrakari thought were deadly. They could continue fighting despite wounds. They used unpredictable tactics that confused the hive mind coordination of the Vrakari forces. For the first time, the Vrakari began to lose ground. The turning point came when Colonel Ryu proposed a mission deep into Vrakari territory. He wanted to strike at their central command node, the place where their hive mind coordinated all activities. It's on a moon with a methane atmosphere, he explained to the War Council. The temperature is -100 degrees. The gravity is twice Earth normal. No species could survive those conditions. Admiral Forrest said. We can, Colonel Ryu replied, with the right equipment for about 12 hours. Long enough. The Council reluctantly approved the mission. Colonel Ryu selected a team of 20 soldiers, the best Earth had sent. They modified Confederation environmental suits to handle the extreme cold and practiced in simulated high gravity. Their ship, painted black to avoid detection, slipped past Vrakari defenses. They landed on the dark side of the moon and approached the command center on foot, a journey of 15 kilometers through conditions that would kill any Confederation species in minutes. The attack was swift and precise. The human team planted devices that disrupted the hive mind connection. Without central coordination, the Vrakari fleet fell into confusion. Their perfectly synchronized attacks became disorganized. Their defensive formations broke down. When Colonel Ryu's team returned, frostbitten and exhausted from the crushing gravity but successful, the Confederation leaders finally understood what it meant to evolve on a death world. Humans weren't fragile creatures needing protection. They were survivors shaped by a planet that had tried to kill them at every turn. The tide of the war had turned. The Vrakari began to retreat, and throughout Confederation space, the word spread. The Deathworlders had been unleashed. The great hall of the Confederation Central Station glowed with soft blue light. Delegates from 37 species sat in wide circles. In the center stood High Chancellor Zeth, his 4 arms raised for silence. The Vrakari delegation has arrived to discuss peace terms, he announced. Colonel Minho Ryu stood with his team near the front of the hall. 6 months ago, they had been treated as fragile beings who needed protection. Now, they were honored warriors. The change still felt strange. The doors opened. The Vrakari representatives entered slowly. Without their battle armor, they looked smaller. Their insect-like bodies moved carefully, all aggression gone from their movements. We accept the terms offered by the Confederation, the lead Vrakari said. Its voice came through a translator with a slight buzz. We will withdraw from all conquered territories and return to our original borders. Colonel Ryu watched as the peace treaty was signed. The war that had nearly destroyed the Confederation was over. Human actions had turned the tide. The protected Deathworlders had saved their alien allies. Later that day, Colonel Ryu walked through the science wing of the station. Many rooms were filled with researchers studying humans. After seeing what humans could do during the war, the Confederation wanted to understand everything about them. Colonel, please come in, called biologist Krell, an alien with transparent skin that showed all his internal organs. We were just discussing your species' remarkable adaptations. Ryo entered the lab where 3 human volunteers were being examined. Screens showed detailed images of human bodies, bones, muscles, organs. Your species evolved carrying water inside your bodies, Krell marveled, pointing to the screens. Most intelligent species need to consume water regularly, but cannot store it internally as you do. Another scientist joined them. You can repair bone fractures naturally. You can regulate your internal temperature in hot or cold environments. You can run for hours without stopping. These capabilities, they're extraordinary. Ryu smiled slightly. On Earth, these things are just normal. We never thought they were special. That's the most fascinating part, Krell said. Your species considers these amazing adaptations to be ordinary. You evolved on a world that would kill most of us within hours, yet you call it home. Throughout the Confederation, attitudes toward humans were changing rapidly. Species that had once pitied the poor Deathworlders now sought human advice and partnership. Military academies requested human instructors. Medical facilities studied human healing techniques. 1 month after the peace treaty, the Confederation held a special ceremony. Jae-yun Kim, who had led many successful missions against the Fracari, stood before the full council. We hereby appoint Jae-yun Kim as the first human member of the Confederation Defense Council, announced High Chancellor Zeth. The chamber filled with the various sounds of alien applause, clicking, humming, and light flashes. Jae-yun stepped forward. Though she stood a head shorter than most aliens in the room, she commanded complete respect. I will establish a training program to share human tactical knowledge with all Confederation species, she said. Together, we will be stronger. Later, at the celebration dinner, Chancellor Zeth approached Colonel Ryu. The tall alien bent down to speak more privately. We once thought your planet's conditions were your greatest disadvantage, Zeth admitted. We wanted to protect you from the dangers of the galaxy because we believed you were fragile. We now understand that Earth's harsh conditions were your greatest gift. The crucible of your death world forged a resilience we had never imagined possible. Ryu nodded. Every human carries Earth with them. Our bodies, our minds, they were shaped by our planet's challenges. What you call a death world, we call home. On the observation deck, Captain Sung Min Park stood with Lieutenant Jae-yun Kwan, watching Earth shine like a blue jewel in the distance. They understand us better now, Jae-yun said. But I'm not sure they truly grasp what it means to be human. Sung Min smiled. They're learning. Yesterday, I saw a Xinthan trying to run on the track. They managed almost a full kilometer before stopping. Progress. Jae-yun laughed. A young alien approached them hesitantly. Excuse me, it said in careful human language. I am studying Earth history. Is it true that human children play in places you call playgrounds where they deliberately climb to dangerous heights and swing through the air? Yes, Sung Min replied. We call it fun. The alien's eyes widened in amazement. As humanity took its rightful place among the stars, the other species finally recognized the truth that had been there all along. Sometimes, the harshest worlds create the strongest survivors. And Earth, the death world, had created humanity, a species that turned adversity into strength. In the vastness of space, that lesson would serve all species well in the centuries to come.